Did you know that a newborn baby is afraid of spiders and snakes and yet is not afraid of a chainsaw, an electric cable, or a gun? This is because, as a species, our knowledge of the chainsaw is very recent. And in this video, I want to talk to you about this, about what biophilia is and why it is so important to know this effect. I'm going to explain a few examples and easy ways so that you can apply it in your daily life and that this will help you to improve your well-being and your health. The first to use the term biophilia was the psychologist Fromm. However, it was the Harvard biologist Edward Willson who developed the concept that we are linked to nature and that contact with it is necessary and essential for our psychological and physical development. He based this theory on the fact that more than 99% of human history has been spent in close relationship and connection with nature. However, 1%, the remaining 1%, had been spent in urbanized environments and disconnected from nature. And we are talking about 2.5 million years linked to nature versus these 200 years where we have begun to live at an urban level and disconnected from nature. In these millions of years, Homo sapiens connected in such a deep way with their environment that even now we have an imperious need to get closer and be in contact with other living beings. This evolutionary process would have marked forever a series of positive emotions and feelings that we have linked to the landscape. And how does this work at the biological level? In our reptilian brain, we have inadvertently included all the unconscious images of environments that suit our preferences as humans and for survival. What this reptilian brain does is regulate bodily functions, both sleep, breathing, blood pressure, even the secretion of serotonin hormones, which have a lot to do with our state of mind. And then there's the limbic system, which is the one that surrounds the reptilian brain and is the one that orders if we should be alert or if we should relax. Many of you may say to me now, okay Albert, this is very interesting, but how does this influence me in my day-to-day life? I will tell you, a lot, especially because we have a total deficit of nature. There is even a syndrome called the urban sadness syndrome, and in a study I recently did in Europe, 75% of people live in cities. And in this case in the United States it is up to 82% and it is expected to grow even more. But it doesn't stop there. In a WHO study, they commented, and I was very impressed by this, that we spend up to 90% of our time indoors. And so, if we take into account this concept of biophilia, we can use it as a tool to improve our health and well-being. Thus improving our health and well-being. This is called biophilic design. It is about emulating nature in the spaces where we live. There are many people who believe that biophilic design is simply putting many plants in one place, but it goes much further. It is changing the conception of design and contemplating a space. Today I want to show you some very interesting examples that have been carried out in offices, hospitals, and private homes. Let's start with offices, which are the environments where the benefits of biophilic design have been demonstrated the most. This is one of the most powerful biophilic design projects that has been done in offices, and that is Amazon's headquarters in Seattle. It used up to 40,000 species of trees to emulate a forest and even hired a horticulturist. But any biophilic design project is based on the following pillars. It must integrate the interior with the exterior, facilitating the views, the use of natural light, the presence of water, making natural analogies with materials, shapes, textures, and aromas, favoring air circulation and using images reminiscent of nature. The human space study at Lancaster University showed that the impact of biophilic design in offices increased the well-being of creative employees by 15% and 67% and 67% respectively, and workers reported feeling happier at work. Other studies have shown a 37% reduction in anxiety and a 58% reduction in depression. And this is the before and after of a project that we just carried out in an engineering company. So that you can see how with very few elements you can achieve a total transformation of the place. This is the basement floor that we were able to transform with large-scale nature images. Here you can see a work we are doing for an industrial company, where we make a meeting table with natural wood and emulating the shapes of a tree that was amazing. There are studies that show that the mere fact of looking at the green of the trees through the window of a hospital room accelerates the recovery process of a patient after an operation. And they need fewer painkillers to endure the pain. private homes, it is very important to manage natural light and to eliminate this barrier between the interior and the exterior. In this particular case, it's a project we are doing where we wanted to make a coexistence between inside and outside. Here you can see how in an interior courtyard is almost like we enter the tree inside the house. Or in this living room, the feeling we wanted to generate is like floating above the trees. Here you can see that it is almost like a painting of the outside space. All this has been just a small brushstroke of the infinite possibilities that biophilia can give us in the application in the spaces we inhabit, and I'm sure it's going to impact the way that offices and hospitals and residences are going to transform the way we're going to live. Thank you very much for your attention. Subscribe if you want to receive this type of content, and don't forget, we are all nature.